So don't delay, act now, supplies are running out, and if you don't have perfect mods, then that's potentially just fine, actually. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. We're going to talk about modding and why you don't need perfect mods. Now, you know that I've put out videos that that I value modding greatly, and I think that that's one of the best ways to make it so that your roster can actually perform the way it should, and you can actually punch up quite a bit. I think it benefits every single roster, even the smallest roster that only have access to 1 or 2 dot mods. Really helps shift the momentum in a lot of your GAC matches, in territory wars, in territory battles. All of them really helps, but you don't need perfect mods. And so what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna show you some imperfectly modded characters. Now, it's gonna seem like humble bragging, honestly, because these characters are also, they're well modded to do what I need them to do. They just aren't perfectly modded, okay? So it's not that I'm showing you like, oh gosh, look at these horrible mods that I have. No, because I don't think it's okay to have like terribly modded characters. I mean, if you need to, you need to, and I have a bunch of characters who are terribly modded, but I just don't use them. The goal is to make your characters functional while not losing sight of the main picture and going crazy, because I know it gives people anxiety. I've talked to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, I can't make my set, like, I just don't have like Aura Sing perfectly modded. I'm like, I don't care about your Aura Sing. Like, can she do some damage? Can she stun? Can she like sit there and use her leadership? Then that's enough. That's enough. So let's jump into it, guys. Enough of this chit chat. Shall we have enough of it? I don't know. Whoa, we're in the game? How'd we get in the game? This is madness. Wow. Okay, here we go, guys. So I've got 5 characters, and we're gonna discuss them. All right. So Saj, the first one. She is a character that wants some crit damage. She wants maybe some speed, depending on what you're trying to counter, whatever. And people ask me all the time, why? All the time. Like, I've had like 5 people ask me, but that feels like all the time, because Aura's not that important. They ask me, why do I have defense sets on her? Nothing in her kit helps with defense. In some ways, you don't want that. You kind of want her to get hurt some. You want her to die sometimes, even potentially on a Night Sister squad. So why do you have defense? And the answer isn't that defense is actually helpful for her. The answer is she wants the primaries more than she wants the set bonuses. So she wants crit damage. She wants some offense, some speed, some health. Like, these are all good stats for her. And the crit damage is wonderful for her. She doesn't care about the defense, but the crit damage is great. And an offense cross on her is also great. A little bit of speed, some health. Like, this is also just not a character that's that important on my roster. Like, yeah, she's Relic 5, but a lot of characters at this point are Relic 5 because I have a big account. But the thing is, what she really cares about is her offense and crit damage, and those are what we're really focusing on. Like, yes, she could be made better if we just put like a crit chance set on her, or maybe even potency, health, like any of those would be great, but those mods that are actually decent, that are offense and crit damage, are probably going to be on other characters. And so, yeah, she would benefit from more mods. I mean, it would also be great to have 6E on all of these. I'm not going to spend enough to do that. Like, yeah, the offense on offense square, that would be wonderful for her. But is that what's necessary? No. This is a B team that I don't use every time, that sometimes some whole seasons I don't use, and therefore she gets mods. Like, I was like, oh hey, this is actually exciting. I get a full set. Like, a lot of times you'll see these other characters, they don't get full sets even. Like crit damage, great. Crit damage primary, great. Offense, great. And we call it good. Stop paying attention. The fact that I was able to pair them to get a little boost on her armor, not too bad, huh? Next up, we have Grand Moff Tarkin, and okay, so I know that the Datacron meta right now is using him to do some interesting and annoying things. We're going to talk about Datacrons right now because that goes in and out. The the vagaries of fate will determine whether we use Tarkin much on the ground. If he doesn't have a good Datacron, he just sits there and does nothing. He rides the Pine, he rides the bench, he's Relic 7, he still doesn't do anything. If you wanted to mod him perfectly, you would give him all, I don't know, like fast potency mods, maybe some offense stuff, but at the end of the day, the thing that he does best for me is he sits around at Relic 7 and is a fleet commander. That's what he does. That's the best thing Tarkin can do for me. And so, yes, I have half of a speed set on him. Some potency, cool. But then the cross isn't even potency. Yes, I could mod him better. That I would like that. However, 6E on him is more important because I need his ship to be a certain speed at Relic 7 so I can counter the meta in ships with him, and he's unnecessary. I don't use him on the ground, therefore I can just put some weird mods on him and call it good. The next one is going to be Nute Gunray. No Nose Nute, as they call him in these parts, and most parts. Not that he has all of his parts, like his nose. However, what does Nute do? Like, you have to question, all right, what do you do, Nute? Like, sometimes you want him to be super fast, and I get that. And you can make him really fast, in fact, in the 330s, 340s, that's possible. I don't know how beneficial that really is, though, however. Like if he's on a droid squad, he's not going to go first because usually, well, maybe he'll go first, but what good does that do you? Like, a lot of times you're going to be countering, like CLS, and CLS goes first, and you want him to just die to the initial barrage so that Grievous gets an immediate turn, and that just kind of jumpstarts your whole team. And otherwise, what else does he, like, you don't need him that fast. He's not going to outspeed the really fast Qui-Gon teams. He's not, so you kind of want him a little bit thick sometimes, but you don't want him too thick because you want him to get killed by Han and Chewie in the initial barrage against CLS. And so, put some speed on him so that he's vaguely fast so that he can get a word in edgewise eventually, because you want to extort Luke and make sure he feels self-conscious about having kissed his sister, etc. But otherwise, you don't need a paired set. Like, yes, he would benefit from that, and this mod is way too good for Nute, wow. But you don't really otherwise need anything from him. Like, he's there to die sometimes or to facilitate, like, passively doing things because people are doing debuffs in his presence, and that's enough to do extra damage if you read his kit. So, yeah, he doesn't need amazing mods. These are okay, but not amazing. Here's the real humble brag, guys. My Moff Gideon, eventually I want to get him to 380 just because it's a nice even number, and that is stupidly fast, guys. I realize most people don't have him that fast, but the idea for him, what does he do? What does he want? That's what we have to question. Like, how do you make sure that Moff Gideon is functional? It's not by having matched sets other than he needs speed. He wants a lot of speed. The idea is you want him to go first. Almost always you want him to go first, and you do that by putting, so I think he's one of the fastest characters in the game, put your fast speed mods on him, and you're good to go. And so, yes, he does a potency set and a defense set, and they don't match, and that's okay, because they're both really fast. And I actually did look for a defense set square, and I don't have anything even remotely close to this speed on defense set for whatever reason. I just don't farm it as much, I guess. I don't know how I have a potency one this fast, but and then the other secondary thing that he really wants is to be more survivable. And even though, yes, the defense set would be nice, it's very difficult to find enough speed mods to be able to do this. And so what I did manage to do, though, guys, was put a lot of, like, find some mods with extra protection and health secondaries for him, and then health, like, maybe protection would be better for him, I don't know. But then this has, like, decent defense secondary, and this is health as well, and some defense, whatever, and some speed. This one is what, but it's plus 24. So yes, we can make him a little faster, but you just want him to be survivable so he doesn't get killed on the initial barrage from like Han and Chewie or something like that. And you want him to be really fast. Those are the two things. And then once he gets a turn, his mechanics kick in. It makes him way more defensible because he lowers their offense by a huge amount, and you're good to go. So it doesn't matter. Like, yes, he is well modded. He's not perfectly modded, but that's okay. You don't need him to be perfect. You need him to accomplish the objective that he's at and call it good. Tech is another one. You want him to have a lot of potency and a decent amount of speed. You could also put a lot more stuff on him, but the main focus is potency, so he can stun everyone on the initial go. And you want him to be able to bridge so that when Echo goes and dispels a bunch of debuffs, or a bunch of buffs, he gains enough speed that he can bridge and go second after Echo goes. And so, he's plus 10 speed after his Zeta, and otherwise, that's it. Like, potency, yes, he could have more potency, but with Hunter he gets another plus 40, and so he has some mods that are maybe not the very best. Yes, I use Bad Batch a lot, but it's not a priority team either. Like, this mod could be a lot better. We could do a lot better with this, and some people do. I just don't. You want the potency cross, you want some decent speed, and for my situation playing in the top 100, top 50, whatever, this is probably enough, frankly. And I don't need to put more on him, so I don't. Let's look at some characters now that I think would require a little bit more focus, guys. And I just want to make sure that you guys understand, you don't need perfect mods, not even on these characters. None of these mods are perfect. However, these are some characters that you just want to, like, if you can get them perfect, then, save your time and effort on these characters, I guess, if you wanted to. So Rey wants health and offense. I'm just gonna click through here quick, guys. Some speed is fine, but health and offense, that's what she wants, and that's how I've modded her. You guys can just take a look at, in your own time. Grievous wants a lot of speed and health, so I have all health sets. Getting him 283 is actually very tough, but then the really tricky thing, he doesn't have much starting potency, and so if you can get him extra potency on top of this, so look at all the secondaries with potency here, and just trying to max out his potency as much as we can. We didn't get it on the triangle because you want speed first. That's the max. That's the thing you want the most. So even on these, I don't have perfect, but you're trying to focus on getting as much of those as you can. Ki-Adi-Mundi wants a lot of crit chance because his crit chance naturally is very low. I think I've added an extra like 20 to 30 crit chance for him, but then because you want him to do a lot of damage. That's his main thing, is lots of offense, lots of damage, lots of speed though too, on top of all of that, because he's plus 80 speed if he's with the Qui-Gon team, which is where he's been living with on my roster for a while. So he's 384 speed in reality. He's very, very stat hungry, which is why you really focus on him. Fennec Shand is really interested in kicking people in the nuts accurately. So I have an accuracy arrow because of the current Datacron thing, but otherwise she would have an offense arrow. And, she wants some speed on it, I guess, some offense. Then otherwise, she just wants a ton of offense everywhere she can. And then otherwise, yeah, like this circle is really good because it's got the 6.8% offense. This one could be a little bit better, I guess. But one way or another, that's what you want with Fennec Shand. Focus on her, trying to get as much offense as you can out of her. And then Skywalker wants like 5 stats. I think this was like the perfect stat, or the perfect mod for him. He wants defense, he wants offense, potency, so we can land AoE days, speed as much as you can get him, and protection. He wants all 5 of these as much as he can, and he can't have all of them, but if you focus on those mods for him, then they can be really good. Other honorable mentions would be like Mace Windu would be really good to focus on. Supreme Leader Kylo would be really good to focus on. Very stat hungry characters like that are the ones that you want to put. If you want to put a little extra effort in, you're going to benefit. But most characters, it's like, are they doing what they're supposed to? Yes. Okay, then get off my back. Like, stop bugging me. So I realize this is a very humble brag episode. I just wanted to demonstrate, guys. You don't need perfect mods. You just need mods for characters that can actually accomplish their goals. These are all kind of somewhat quasi-important characters. And that's it. They need these mods. They need the mods that they have on them. They don't need more than that. They don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get anxious and all, don't hurt your character by getting perfect sets. Identify what they need, especially by watching all my videos. That's part of it, guys. Just watch my videos and you'll know exactly what they need. And then, I don't know. It's true. Very true. And otherwise, find what they need, figure out their objective, and then mod to that, and then don't over mod them. Don't put extra on them just because you want it to be perfectly symmetrical. If you need it to be perfectly symmetrical, I guess I get that on an OCD level, but it's not necessary in terms of gameplay. So that's all I have, guys. I realize that these mods are going to annoy some of you because you don't have as good of mods as me, and that's not me taunting you or whatever, talking down. I just been playing the game for 6 years and I have some good mods at this point. So let me know what your thoughts are. What are some more characters that you don't need to mod perfectly but still operate at a pretty functional level? And note that I didn't show you any of my terribly modded characters, because they're not really filling these objectives, right? So anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails.